It's Kyle, and today we're taking a look at the Mule Mount. What might just be one of the most ingenious little mounts I've seen for a long time. So this is the mount, and as you can see here, we've got two GoPros set up, mounted onto it, which is mounted onto a centerpiece, which is then mounted onto a suction cup mount. So on the surface, the Mule Mount comes across as basically just a splitter, which allows you to attach two GoPros to one central mounting point, just like what we've got set up here. And this is kind of what it, I think, was designed around. They wanted to be able to put two cameras facing forward and back onto any standard GoPro mount. So the mount here in the middle is just a standard GoPro mount, and you can unscrew this and you can mount it onto anything. If you want to mount this onto a buckle mount and put it on top of a helmet, that works fine. Works just great. You'd get facing forwards and you'd get facing back. But just like that, you can see they've got a cutout in the middle there. So anything you can put this, you can think of mounting a GoPro onto, it's got the same tooth system. So this is also going to mount onto it. But it goes a little bit farther than that. It's not just a mount for mounting two GoPro cameras. It can also be used, well, I guess the straightforward one here, and the first thing we'll talk about is just using it as a handle. So it can be used just like this as a handle for your GoPro. So if you ever wanted a little hand grip and you had this with you, it could be used as a hand grip. But probably the most ingenious part of this is how well it integrates with zip ties. So on the back of it here, once you take these cameras off, you can see that there's little dips here between the center bar and where the camera mounts onto. Now that can be used to make the cameras have their full range of motion and they fold, but it also allows for some very ingenious mounting with zip ties, and they've realized that and put nice rubber non-skid pads on the bottom of it here. So these are big rubber pads which are super sticky, and they are not really sticky, but they're rubbery, and if you put these onto flat surfaces or curved surfaces, they stick really well, and then with a little bit of pressure from the zip ties over the top here are very good at not moving. So there's a couple photos of places this has been mounted on their website. One of theirs was onto the back bar of a bike. So they just put this on the back of a bike and then just zip tied it on, and they could get two mounting points on there. So really, this mount is it allows you to put two cameras onto anything, but it also allows you to get some really kind of interesting mounting locations with a really low profile mount. One of the great things with this versus the GoPro mount was that onto tubes of bikes and onto it's on the back of the bike, which you can see right now, you couldn't really put a normal handlebar mount there because it's too wide. It would actually interfere with the spokes of the bikes depending on how you mounted it. So this is a super low profile mount, and you can just kind of huck it on, and because it just zip ties, you can take it off whenever you need to, but also it's low profile enough and out of the way that you could just leave it there for quite some time. That's about it for the features of this mount. Really, it's a great way to mount two cameras onto something, but then the addition of that zip tie holders and those great rubber feet really make this mount versatile. And I had the two of these in my kit bag for a while, and I did find myself going to them sometimes. Definitely, I wasn't always mounting two cameras onto things just because I had the ability to do it. Like, I wasn't forward and back mounting on top of helmets because I didn't really see the point of shooting what was behind me. Most of the time I ended up just using them facing forwards and not really using this mount. But on things like that bike, on the back of the bike, the shots I got from that were really cool, and I was really impressed with how it mounts there and how it worked there. So I will definitely be continuing to use these for spots like that. And then there are places where being able to mount two cameras is really cool. One of them that I was thinking about was suction cup mounting inside a car. You could kind of mount this onto the window, and then you could probably shoot one camera forward and one camera back. So you could get a kind of in the car shot behind you from like one facing back, and then a camera facing forwards to shoot the road ahead of you. Say you're doing a travel vlog or something, you could talk about your trip, and then maybe you could then put in editing, you could put the video of you inside the car down in the corner of the screen or something like that. So there are possibilities like that where I think two cameras would be great. Another one is maybe biking, because maybe biking, looking forward and looking back, are pretty cool shots to get at the same time. You can get some cool spray off the back tires if you're mountain biking or something like that going around corners. So there are definitely spots where two camera mounting is really cool, but it just might not be something that everyone needs to have in their kit bag. Just because you have two GoPros doesn't mean you should be capturing the forward-facing angle and the back-facing angle. For skiing, I would probably go head-mounted and pole-mounted before I go forward and back. But Again, there are places where these mounts are really cool and 2 cameras are great, but probably what I liked about this best was the ability to mount onto small cylindrical poles like the back of the bike, like I showed, so easily and really so robustly. So yeah, that was the Mule Mount, and it's awesome. I was really impressed with it and had a ton of fun checking it out. If you guys are interested, there's links down in the video description to where you can find it. And if you've got any questions or comments, leave them down in the video description. I read all of those, and I do respond to as many of them as I can. If you guys have any ideas for future videos, things you want to see, things you don't want to see, things you like, things you don't like, leave them down in the comments. I read all of them. I do respond to as many of them as I can. And if you guys like the video, make sure you like it, subscribe, and check out my channel for lots more videos. Until next time, guys, thank you very much for watching.